This is the Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent Podcast, hosted by me, Kelly Donahue-Piro. This show is for growing insurance agencies looking to maximize their biggest investment, their people. Listen to the top agency performance partners clients share their story on how they boosted their performance by executing a plan. Let's head to the show. Hi, everybody. So we did 4 videos on how to transform into a sales culture. And these are really great steps any agency can take if you're struggling with, how do we do all this? How do we move these cultures along? We feel like we're just kind of stuck. And so we go over everything from setting sales goals, incentive plans, coaching for people who aren't picking up what you're putting down, and lastly, separating sales and service. And these are 4 strategies I've just seen personally in my work one-on-one with agencies that really gets developed and makes a big, big impact. So I'm excited to share them with you so that if you're in that mode of not knowing what to do next, this could be the answer for you. Let's jump into our first video. All right, we're at our first video. How exciting. All right, the first step you want to have in building a sales culture is sales goals. So many agencies don't have a clear goal. So agencies run off the P&L. Are we growing? Are we shrinking? What's going on? But having a sales target is something the team can rally around. It's something you can incentivize. It's something that we can have fun and talk about. And I'm going to warn you, you should not set a sales goal that's so high. Maybe even just start with, what did we sell last year this month? And then ease your way into it. When people haven't seen numbers, a lot of times they get very nervous, get overwhelmed. The numbers can get misconstrued. So if we don't sell as much, like we're doing a bad job, it becomes very dramatic. You have to realize people are transitioning into understanding these metrics that maybe you've seen all along. So watch our tips on how to get sales goals for your insurance agency. Hey everyone, Kelly Donahue-Piro here, and I want to talk today about 4 steps that your agency can take to become a sales culture. And so often we hear like service culture, sales culture. But a sales culture is not a bad thing. And I don't want everybody getting in their head quota and aggressive and all these things. That's not what a sales culture is. A sales culture is that we celebrate new clients coming in. We get excited when new people want to work with us, and that we balance service and sales at the same time. So the first step we have to becoming a sales culture is to get sharp on a sales target for the month. Now, if your team services and sells, I love having this be a group goal. If you have separate producers, it should be an individual goal, but tied into a team goal at the same time. So very, very different. The service team, they're doing other jobs, so they need to be able to load balance new business and service at the same time and work together to solve both problems. Producers really love individualisticness, and so that's why that is super key. If you have never set a sales goal before, your best bet is to run a year's worth of new business broken down by month. Then what you want to do is you want to say, well, what did we sell last June? And could we increase that by 10 or 15%? Something very, very obtainable. And then what you do is you can go ahead and talk to the team and start showing them. Now with sales goals, we do recommend that every week you tell people where they stand. Because if you don't, people assume what's going on, and that's dangerous. You don't want anyone assuming a sales goal. You want them to feel good and confident and in play on that. So your biggest opportunities to create a sales culture start with a goal. Now, a goal is not a quota, okay? A quota is something that says you could be terminated if you don't hit this. A goal is something that we want to put our collective efforts into to get there. Now, don't be surprised if the first month people don't understand. The second month, we're doing the building blocks. The third month, it's clicking. And by the 4th month, it feels a lot better. It does take time if you've never had a sales goal in your agency to get there. So you are going to need to have some patience, and you're going to need to have some conversations and some understanding. But that's okay, because growing businesses have sales goals. So divide up. Are you going to do team or individual or a combination? Run the reports and then set a target maybe 10 or 15% higher than that month last year, because a lot of agencies have seasonality. Then you want to get into the habit of reporting it every week and celebrating. And weeks where we struggle, we need to go back to the drawing board and learn and listen and regroup to come up with a better strategy. So that's step 1. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit about how to tie incentives to that goal so that your agency can become a sales culture. We'll see you in the next video. All right, tip two.
We've got this. Now we got goals, we need incentives. These are things that get people excited. Rewards. They can be everything from wheel spins to, hey, if we sell 2 more policies this week, everyone gets lunch. Jeans Day on Friday, or a bonus. We even had one agency do a cruise. You're going to hear all about some incentives that we have, but incentives should be something that, gets the team jacked, excited. It's just that little, like, let's have some fun today. And fun in an agency definitely means you're going to sell more policies. I have no scientific data on it, but the ones I walk into where there's smiles and there's fun and there's high fives, they're selling insurance. Ones I walk into, I'm so busy, not selling as much insurance, I can tell you. And fun can happen anywhere. So think about these incentives as you're creating your sales culture. Hey everyone, we're talking about how to build a sales culture in your agency. And the next step we want to talk about is, let's talk about incentives. So for anything that you're doing in an agency, and incentives are a really fun way to motivate behavior and make sure people understand what we're trying to work towards. And so we always say agencies get incentives wrong a lot because they think everybody's motivated the way you are, and that's not true. The number one driver of motivation is recognition. And so whatever you do, you want to make it big. You want to have the team meeting. You want to celebrate. Those are things people remember. They make people feel good. When you're giving people cash bonuses, it gets lumped into their check and there's taxes and it takes some time. That's not what we want. So what we want to think about is to incentivize your team. First of all, is it going to be team or individual? And the next thing we want to do, is it going to be monetary or something different? We have a lot of agencies that have selling account managers that are also servicing, that do things like spins on the wheel, gift cards, things that are just instant quick hits that make you feel really good. And then we have producers who always love cash. So money, money, money. I shouldn't say cash, but commissions. Those are different ways. You have to diversify. It's not one size fits all. The other thing you could do is look at something big. We once had an agency that did a cruise. So if they hit their sales goal at the end of the year, them and their spouse got to go on a cruise. And, it might seem like a lot, but when you really break it down for the cost of a cruise, they had a port nearby, so it wasn't dealing with airfare. It was a good experience that them and their spouse could have. It made them work extra hard toward it. So don't think that all incentives are created equal. Instead, think about how we can get your team motivated towards it. And we also love when there's little mini spiffs during the week, like, hey, we're close to our goal, throwing an extra Amazon gift card for the next person who sells 2 policies. Those things can help keep us real-time engaged. But you want to make sure that whatever you do, you're tracking it and that you're educating and you're keeping the energy level high. Don't think that you're going to run a report at the end of it, but here you go, and people are going to get it. It's 30 days. 30 days. I don't remember what I ate last week for dinner. You want me to remember a sales goal? You're going to have to do the work of keeping your team motivated and educated. And incentives are a great way to do that because it feels like you're winning. And everybody wants to feel like they're winning, of course. So take this 3-minute video and work on your incentive plan with your team. If you have any questions, take a look at our Apex sales program. We have a list of incentives in there if you're interested in our online training, or you can go to our blog, and we've done lots of blogs on incentive programs. You might catch yourself a good idea. Thanks so much, everybody. See you in the next training video. I'm Kelly Donahue-Piro, and I'm the creator of the Agency Performance Pack, which is online training that your team can use. So if you've ever had account managers that happen to service and sell, and they could use some sales training, but you want it done at their pace when you have time, this is the online course for you. In our pack, it's $245 a month, and you get sales training, time management, reducing remarketing, renewal review calls, and we add to it every quarter. In fact, our July one's coming up on July 15th that we're going to launch, and it's all on how to cross-sell. And that's all included for your monthly subscription. So what are you waiting for? Get your team the tips and tricks they need to not only save themselves time, but increase your closing ratios, and let your team have a few tools in their tool chest that they can use to be ridiculously amazing at that inbound business. You can check it out by going to agencyperformancepartners.com/shop and look for our Agency Performance Pack. It's all right there, and you can buy it online. We hope to welcome you as a new student. All right. With any sales culture, there's going to be performers and non-performers. Let's be honest. The statistics on producers is not great. You're going to have a lot of them, but not a lot of them are going to be active. And so you need to have a coaching plan in place that addresses false beliefs, finds out what's going on, and works with them on one topic that if they tighten that bolt, it's going to have a huge opportunity. This could be something like you need more prospecting. This could be your closing ratios off. This is literally having a coach that's going to walk you through everything, because we all have blind spots. So think about this. Tom Brady has a coach. Hello, the GOAT has a coach. Why? Because he's got blind spots. He needs someone to walk him and say, like, you got to throw the football a little differently. I saw this. You're stepping this way. Your abs are a little weak. Whatever it is. Same thing here. In insurance sales, there could just be some small tweaks. We're so in it every day, into the minutia of it all, that we need to have someone helps us step out of that. And that's what a coach is going to do. So watch our video on how you can start sales coaching inside your agency. Hey everyone, it's Kelly Donahue-Piro here. And now we're talking a little bit about how to build a sales culture in your agency. The next one we want to talk about is coaching. And I find that this is a weakness in many agencies, where we have people, all different sales skills, especially if you didn't have a sales culture before. And now we're kind of focusing in on an area to strengthen up in a person. And everybody's different. Many people can say, well, like, I'm doing fine right now. This isn't my comfort zone. Why can't I keep just doing this? Because in many agencies, we have quoters, not salespeople. So we're trying to take that caterpillar and transform them into a butterfly. And coaching is really the key to this. Now, coaching takes time from leadership and management, and it's not always everybody's skill set. But I do strongly believe everybody can become better at coaching. The common concern we hear from people in agencies is they show us the numbers, maybe we're not hitting them, but there's no plan. I'm kind of left on my own to say, what do I do differently? But I've been doing the same thing for 10 years. I don't really know. It's good to know. Maybe it makes me a heightened awareness, but I'm unsure of those next steps. And let's be honest, we're all not super self-aware. We all think we ask for the business. We all think we cross-sell. We all think we don't miss quotes. We all think that we don't do some of those things. And that's something that we definitely want to make sure we don't do. So I think it's super critical that we stop for a second and say, how do we coach people? In coaching people means that we sit down and we meet with them, we talk with them, but we set a target. And generally it's one thing. It's not 17 things. And that's where sales gets tricky. It's, you need to strengthen up on closing. You need to strengthen up at multi-lining at the point of sale. You need more leads in your pipeline. Let's focus for 90 days on that one topic. And you might meet with them every 2 weeks to kind of get that up and running. And that's a critical component. But if you're not coaching them, people are kind of left out to sea without really a life raft. Now you might be saying, well, they could watch videos, or they could go to blogs, they could do all the things I do. If they were all you, then they'd be running agencies. This is your job to filter information to them. It's their job to be open and have a good attitude and be teachable on the information. So if things like video quotes make them cringy, you got to coach that with them. You got to walk them through. Sometimes people just need their hand held. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, who's got time for that? Well, how important is hitting the goal to you? And this is things where maybe you're not the best at it. You need to look at training resources. You need to look at doing it in a group format. There's a million ways to do it, but telling people they're not hitting their targets without a plan is also not very cool. And that's why in order to become a sales culture, and if you weren't one before, this is going to take time. This is not a light switch. You just don't say, we turned on our sales culture today. And so take some time and think through that. And I think you'll be very surprised at what comes out of it. Any questions, let us know. But if you want to be on the track of being a sales culture, you are going to have discussions and conversation and help people understand a little bit more about what's included. We'll see you in our next video. Our final tip is probably one of the hardest ones that you're going to have to maybe overcome. So this is where we really look into the idea of uncoupling sales and service. So sales and service is two different brains. And as your agency grows, you may have people doing a little bit of everything. At some point, you're going to need to pull that apart, because salespeople need to be focused on new customers. Service people need to be focused on loving and serving and cross-selling. And when you can really drive deep into how that all works, you'll start to see those metrics come alive, because people are doing the job that's the fit for them. So watch our video on how to make that happen. So we're on to our final tip on how to create a sales culture in your agency. If your agency has been in existence, has 10, 15 people in it, a lot of times agencies kind of have to transform over time. One of our biggest strategies is uncoupling service and sales. So we do see a lot of agencies where people do so many jobs. They wear so many hats. They're servicing, they're selling. And there's this friction a lot of times between, do I service a customer, do I sell? What generally takes over is our personality. The thing we're most comfortable doing, we do. So salespeople push off service and that causes wrinkles on this end. Service people push off sales and we miss opportunity. So as your agency grows, what you might want to do is consider having a new business unit and a service unit. Now, what we look at a new business unit is they're focused on new clients. So this would be inbound, this would be calling lost customers, calling old unsold quotes, going after referral sources, anything new business related. So a new lead comes in, it comes into a closer, someone's going to cross-sell it, give it a great experience, and then after 30 days, move it over to the service line. And what service people do is renewal review calls, reshops, endorsements, claims, cross-selling too. So the producer has a year to cross-sell, then it goes to service and it's fair game. And so when you separate the two, what you find is they're two different personalities a lot of times, and it really works harmoniously inside the agency. So if your agency's been struggling with, hey, everyone's overwhelmed, not everybody's doing it, we're missing opportunities, uncoupling service and sales may be a great option for you. It takes some time, takes some guidance, but it does work for many agencies, and we highly recommend it. Because otherwise what happens is people get these books of business and there's this constant competition, people get stagnant as opposed to growth. Uncoupling it generally means you're going to sell a lot more new business, and the people who are better account managers are going to be in a position to thrive as well. So consider this if your agency's at a point where you really can uncouple service and sales 100%. That's our tip for today. We'll see you with our 3-minute mashup of all of our ways to become a sales culture tomorrow. All right, we made it through. Do you have a sales culture yet? Of course not. It's going to take some time. But we want to give you some baby steps of what everybody should be doing to get to a sales culture. At the end of this, if you give yourself 6 months to work through all this, it's going to make a huge impact in your agency, and we'd love to hear about it. As many of you know, we don't have any sponsors for this podcast. We just do it out of the kindness of our own heart. We love sharing our information with people. I really believe in that give to get principle. So the way you can help us out is check out our website, look at our online school, or tell friends about our podcast if you think that would help them. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we serve you. So if you have any questions whatsoever, as far as, a question you want to see us feature in a video, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you in our next 3-minute video.